Hey guys, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. Today I have a special video for you because it's not all about Star Trek, it's about Montreal Comiccon 2017, which took place from the 7th of July to the 9th. My wife and I went there all 3 days and stayed as much as we could, so here's a little recap. As you can imagine though, not everything is about Star Trek at Comic-Con. Very little is, actually. And I'm gonna blame Bob for that. God damn it, Bob, we hate you. Get it right next time. Still, we did find some Star Trek related cosplays and panels to go to, so we'll talk a bit about that. But let's get the non-Star Trek stuff out of the way first. This was the 9th edition of the Montreal Comic-Con, and though I have nothing to compare it to because it was our first, I found it huge. They had it set up over 3 floors of the Montreal Palais des Congrès. The 2nd floor had all the booths, the 5th floor had all the panels, and the 7th floor was set up so people could have lunch. So there were loads of comic books, t-shirts, props, toys, memorabilia to buy. Pop figurines, of course, and cosplay elements as well. Sony and Nintendo had games to try out. There was also an indie game zone set up with couches and whatnot. Optimus Prime was on exhibition in a corner. Sadly, he didn't actually transform. There was also the 1966 Batmobile, R2-D2s, some on exhibition, some moving around. Jurassic Park and the Knight Rider had their iconic vehicles present. The first thing that happened to me when I got in was a talking and moving Dalek unexpectedly poked me in the back. And yes, he was screaming exterminate. We also got to play retro games and see gladiator fights in which the crowd decides who lives and dies. They don't actually die though. They lie on the ground breathing heavily and after a few seconds they get up and awkwardly walk away. But it was good. Half the fun is the cosplayers of course, and the alleys were packed. You could also get autographs and photos taken with celebrity guests, and I guess this is where I start talking a little more about Star Trek. Jason Isaacs was present, so in honor of the channel doing so well, here's our first autographed picture guys. Captain Lorca, on the Discovery, signed to Trek on the Tube, all the best. Sadly, we couldn't take any pictures or videos of him at his booth, so you'll have to take my word on what I say next. I asked him about the live cast he had done, and he explained he finds them relaxing to do, believe it or not. I followed that question up by asking if he could confirm his death in Discovery, and he just stopped moving and smiled at me. We then went to his conference, which was basically a 45-minute Q&A. He has loads of great stories and he's a really funny guy. He opened by saying we could ask as many Star Trek Discovery questions we wanted. He would answer none because if he did, CBS would take his name off his trailer, so naturally, it was all very Harry Potter. Sir Patrick Stewart was the next conference we went to. He didn't really mention Star Trek at all. He talked more about Logan and his decision to retire from the X-Men franchise. Though he did say something intriguing. A fan asked him how Seth MacFarlane convinced him to be an American Dad, and he said he's on board with anything Seth MacFarlane brings him. We know he doesn't want to do Star Trek anymore, but maybe one day we'll get a cameo in the Orville. The last conference we went to was Nathan Fillion, really funny as well. He mostly talked about his time on Firefly and Castle. During the 3 days, we went to 3 Star Trek related panels. The first one was Star Trek in Stand-Up, discussing the humor and the comedy in the franchise. Humor that Bob clearly doesn't understand, so of course, he annoyed everyone.
God damn it, Bob!
Regardless of Bob's attitude, we still had a good time. The second was Star Trek TNG at 30, celebrating 30 years of Star Trek The Next Generation. It wasn't so much a panel, but more a group of Trekkies talking about what they like and dislike in Star Trek The Next Generation. To our great surprise, people don't like Dr. Pulaski. The last Star Trek panel we went to was Klingons one-on-one. We left before the end because it wasn't really for us. The group was discussing Klingon culture and Klingon cosplay, the first of which I know about, the second of which we don't do. They did mention something interesting though. They talked about having a booth next year with an original series captain's chair. So that could be nice. That about covers it. On the last day we took the time to go around and buy a few things. Spock's ears for starters. I mean, useless but fun. Let me just try them on. Okay, quite literally 10 minutes later. As expected, they don't exactly fit. My ears are too big. I mean, you know, whatever. It's fine. It's fun. Live long and prosper. Oh no, sorry. Fascinating. We also bought some original series crew prints done by an artist named Amy Spaulding. To boldly go, live long and prosper. I'm a doctor, not a fill in the blank. Hailing frequencies open. I cannot change the laws of physics. Maintaining course and speed. And nuclear vessels. Which is interesting because that line isn't from the original series, it's from the movies. You could get bigger versions of these, but they were sold individually, and I wanted the whole crew, so, yeah. Okay, we had a great time, and we're looking forward to doing it again. Our only regrets are having to leave early each day and therefore missing a few things, and also the cancellation of Jonathan Frakes. He was a last-minute addition, and maybe he realized he couldn't come after all, but we were really excited to see him, so that was disappointing. It was good though. I hope you get the chance to check one out for yourself if you haven't already. I'm gonna leave you with a montage of some photos we took over some Marvel Cinematic Universe played by the orchestra present. Thanks for watching this, different video, and as always, well, this time in character, live long and prosper.